All right, Leafs talk. Double dork talk. We got the glasses rolling
and black sweaters.
I don't know. It's just a t-shirt. I own a t-shirt. But yeah, we're twinning up tonight. The Leafs lose in overtime. That's 3 of 4 to the Islanders that they've dropped.
Yeah.
I think there's only one way to start the show, buddy. Not the finest moment for Jake McCabe. Like,
yeah,
what are we doing here, brother? I actually have really liked McCabe lately, but that overtime sequence, that's Hall of Fame level bad overtime performance for a guy in a Leafs uniform.
The Sportsnet, the TSN producer did him dirty with that below the goal line angle of Mitch Marner wide open, banging his stick like 4 times. And he's like, no. Rocket pass through 3 sticks to try to hit Matthews for a clear icing. Yeah, not a great decision. And it ends up in the back of your net immediately. And I'm sure he's pretty upset. Did Riley finish the game? Is that why? Or is it like the overthink thing that they're like, it's overthink thing?
It's just overthink thing, man. Yeah. Riley's perfectly fine and rested. I thought the same thing. It made no sense to have him out there. It's just kind of, this is the tinkerer loves to tinker, and he loves to tinker in the overtime.
He plays so many OTs. He's like, I got to try something new. It's like, I'm sick of just putting out the same 3 guys. I got to try something new. I don't know.
16th overtime this season for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I was thinking, you know how there's those gambling sites that'll go, if you put $5 on this thing throughout the course of the season, you'd have $1 million. And you go, wow, I guess I'm a stupid idiot. I actually am a stupid idiot for not betting Leafs to go to OT every single night. What would my return be? I watch this team. I have no excuse at this point to not be a millionaire off of gambling on this. So I'm going to be the cooler. I'm going to start placing dough down on Leafs to go to overtime so that we can all save time in our lives and avoid these unnecessary overtime periods. But just to close on the McCabe thing, it's just we both like the guy, okay? And I've liked his play a lot recently. I think that he's had a really good bounce back this year after starting the season slowly, got the injury, came back, and since then has played great. But this is just his thing. This is what you got to kind of live with McCabe sometimes, is he gets horny. He gets horny for plays. And you see it. It's either trying to jump up into the rush, it's trying to make a big hit, it's trying to make a big stretch pass. And as ugly as that is tonight, I think you got to live with it. That's the type of player you have. You can't really reel him in because it's his identity.
Well, yeah, or you could just start maybe their best 3-on-3 player, Morgan Riley.
Well, that works too. Yeah. I'm working with this parameter of that.
Sure.
The reality, the guy that played, the thing that happened.
But the reality is the guy that's watching, I don't know, Blues Clues behind the bench on the iPad for half the third period. Maybe he could have just put out the guys who are good and 3-on-3. Like, why? Maybe we could put Camp and Gregor out there to start next time to really get started up, because they had a good game. Maybe reward them with 3-on-3. Like, it drives me nuts. Just put Morgan Riley out there to start every single 3-on-3 overtime. He might be their best 3-on-3 guy. Him and Nylander are both really, really good in 3-on-3. And you'd think the coach that's watched, you said 16? How many games have they played? 35, 36? Like, a lot of their games have gone to overtime, and they've watched a lot. You can limit McCabe. You can put him out there, but just don't start him. Anyways, it's a loser point again. Leafs get another loser point, but just a little mad about that.
Where would they be without the loser point, though?
Ooh, probably not in a playoff spot.
There's a case, I was going to say, there's a case to be made for, hey, where would the Leafs be if they just turned a bunch of these loser points into wins, right?
Yeah.
They'd easily be first if they were better in overtime. Mm-hmm. Strong case to be made for, hey, a team with this level of talent, shouldn't they get less loser points and more loser wins?
Well, they have the yips. They're yipped out in overtime. Like, they all are like, we're the best guys. We're cool. We're nonchalant. We don't have to try too hard in this. Like, it's just, they're all very clearly like, know how sick they are. And they're like, well, we'll get our chances. We'll get our chances. Mm-hmm. And before you know it, it's in the back of your net. It happens all the time with this team. Sometimes they should win more in overtime than they lose. And I don't know what the record is even. I couldn't tell you. Does anybody have it offhand?
I got it, but I've got it. They've now got 8 overtime losses. And, that to be fair to them, that's the same that the Bruins have, right? And I'm not sure how much that gets talked about in Boston is like, hey, the Bruins. So they're tied for, I want to say, first in the NHL with 8 loser points. Let me just double check that.
Buddy,
No,
Bill Belichick
Kraken.
Bill Belichick just left, and the Celtics are the best team in the NBA. I'm pretty sure they're not talking about 3-on-3 over.
Yeah. Yes. Fair point by you. No, the Kraken have 9 loser points. And then the Isles have 10, and the Leafs have 8. So I do think though that there's something to be said for if you were going to pick the teams in hockey and say, hey, we're going to do a draft of it's all going to go 3-on-3. The NHL is going 3-on-3. What team do you want to be? You'd say, well, the Leafs are at the very top. They got Nylander, they got Matthews, they got Marner. The whole premise of what these guys are built on is supposed to be, hey, go win the skills competitions. And yet they've dropped 8 of these skill competitions. I think
that's where you got to lean on your pro scout. You got to call Books, and he's like, I don't know, boys. They're not very good in 3-on-3. Like, you got to go with Barkov or something.
Yeah.
Like,
I know a lot of it's just random and bad breaks, and you make one brain fart and it goes in the back of your net. But you're right. It's going to be a little annoying if the Leafs miss the top seed this year. If they end up in a first round series against the Florida Panthers, and you have the reflection of, boy, it would have been nice to win 2 or 3 more of those overtimes and have
100%.
not made mistakes like Jake McCabe icing a puck and then getting beat to the net off the draw after he made such a ham bone mistake. Anyways, I got to tell, you want to move to Matthews? Like, what is there to say? The guy's unbelievable at scoring goals.
It's just any way you want it, buddy. He'll do it any way you want it. Like wrister, tip, backhand, sauce, little bit of silkiness. Like the first one, the first one is so nice. I gotta say, like the falling down on the celly does take away from it. Sorry,
I love it. It humanizes him.
No,
humanizes him.
It's way less cool. Like you go down your little crouch and you fall on your face. You look.
I loved it.
It's not as cool. It's not as cool.
I loved it.
But the second one is just a really, really gross play. Like it's just, Holmberg does a nice puck pursuit, wins a battle against the guy with one hand somehow. Not a great play. Was it Dobson that coughed it up there? Not a great play by him. Like this is not a banner play, but to put that through his legs and then have the wherewithal to quickly slide it backhand 5-hole. And we're not talking about whoever played net for the Sharks here. We're talking about maybe the best goalie in the league, top 5 goalie in the league. Like he's a really, really good goalie. Made him look stupid. So I mean, number 33, and they've played 39 games now. So my 50 and 50 hopes they're fleeting, my friend. We're gonna need a 6-goal game coming up here pretty soon. But nonetheless, he's been unbelievable, and he just continues to carry them offensively. There's not a whole lot else you can say.
I got to tell you, so the goals, there's nothing more to really add to what you said. They're filthy. I love the patience on the first one, actually, especially just because, again, it's like how anyone on earth doesn't just see a puck that's there and not just, exactly. Like, it's just human nature that, like, for you to have the processing power in that moment to not just jam the puck. Like, again, how many guys in the NHL just right there jam? Right?
They're chopping. Somebody's chopping at it or trying to poke it in.
And not a soul, not any critical person could ever be like, well, why didn't he take it and then be patient and go drag it across the net? That's not analysis. That's just, it's a one of one thing. And it got me, I don't know if he's going to hit the 50 and 50. I would love it. I think that the closer it gets, the more fun the pursuit would be. You can't rule him out because he's just capable of having these multi-goal games every single night. And even the rest of the game, you could tell he was chasing around the hat trick. And even part of the McCabe pass, I think, is centered around the idea of, hey, we got to try to feed it to 34.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do this a little bit more on my podcast more. I'm going to stretch it out a bit. I normally really hate when we do the whole, like, is someone the GOAT of something, especially this early in their career? I think it's pretty stupid. I understand it because he's on pace with Ovechkin or he's outpacing Ovechkin, right, at this point of his career. But what you said there, any way you want it, that's the thing about Matthews that is so extraordinary to me is it's not just the wrister, right? It's all the different ways that this guy can score goals. It is a little unprecedented for a guy that gets him this that he scores him this many different ways, right? That he keeps finding new spots on the ice that are his spots. Each season, he kind of evolves his game a little bit. Again, I'm not going to do the GOAT talk. I think it's really, really silly, but he's just, man, this sounds stupid now too, but he's just so special. He's just
He
such a special
is.
goal scorer.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's fine. It doesn't sound stupid. You're bang on. And Ovi early in his career definitely scored goals in different ways. Like when he first
Sure.
came up, like he was powerful and he could score, off the rush. He'd dangle a guy, he'd power a guy through. And then as his career progressed, it was more the one-timer from the
Mhm.
top of the circle, as we all know. Like I feel like he scored over half of his goals from one spot on the ice, which in itself is amazing. But yeah, like I just think the ways that he finds to score goals is remarkable. And I don't think, what did he tie Ron Ellis for? Was it sixth all time? He's played 8 seasons, man. It's unbelievable. Like he is going to be in the 600, 700, 800 goal range by the time his career's done. No
Mhm.
question. Like he's obviously, the injury stuff has sort of bubbled up with him in the past where he's missed stretches of game, but he's still almost close to, half a goal, or I don't really know the exact number per game or whatever. But
Mhm.
like, I think it's pretty hard to believe he won't be in the 700 range by the time his career's done. He just scores all the time. And like I said, all different ways. So amazing.
So this game, I thought that the Leafs started really slow.
They,
Bad start.
can I ask you something? Do they
Yeah.
always kind of not play well in this game? Like, is it just me, or like it
I thought
feels
that
like,
they had stretches in this where they played
for
really well.
sure.
I thought that the first like 6, 7, 8 minutes, the Leafs were kind of dogging it. Matthews takes a penalty and then boom, they're just down there behind the 8 ball. And it felt like the Islanders were out smelling blood and they wanted to bury the Leafs right away. Marty
Yeah,
Jones makes a bunch of good saves as
he did.
he's apt to do. And then the Leafs found their footing and I thought played great for basically the rest of the period. They played awesome, I thought, for the second period. It was just a close, tightly checked game. And then the third, I thought it was basically both teams, they met during the intermission. They went, "Hey, you down for a tie? You
Point
down?
time? Point.
Yeah,
Let's do a
point.
point.
You good for a point? We're good for a point. All right, cool. We're
Yeah.
gonna just kick this thing over to OT because yeah, the last 10 minutes of the period were pretty lifeless, I would say. There wasn't too much going on. I think Nylander created a shot that was fairly like that's the only real notable play, I think, from the fourth or from the third period. But I actually kind of I like tonight. Maybe it's just the compression chamber of going from watching the Sharks, but
Yeah,
I
maybe.
thought that watching the first and second periods, especially, that it was like a tightly checked game, not a ton of mistakes on either side, other than some sloppy stick penalties from a couple of the Leafs players. Right, Liljegren has one where it's a high stick. Holmberg has one where a guy steps on his stick, but it's a bit of a loose play.
Mhm.
I like tonight overall. I thought that this was a good one.
You're right. Maybe it is the Sharks factor where,
Mhm.
you have to get used to the other team having the puck again. So
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, well, that happens in hockey games, right? The other team gets to play too. Forgot about that part of hockey. But
Mhm.
I don't know. It's just, you watch them in that game the last couple last week against LA, who's struggling now, so maybe it's not as impressive as it seemed at the time. And in that Anaheim game where they're just playing so hard, and they're just, I guess you can't bring that effort every night, and you can't play that hard every single night, which I completely understand. But it
Mhm.
just seems in this game, I don't know, it's not the right word isn't timid. I don't know, passive sometimes. Tavares, I didn't think was particularly good tonight. I didn't think that line in general was very good tonight.
No,
I don't think, I think Johnny T absolutely hates this game. And I think a
I
lot of
agree.
the guys know it. And I think it kind of bleeds down through the team. There's just something about them going in this game. Like, what's their record there since
Well, I just
remember
told you they've lost 3 of their last 4, but they I think they won
there?
back to back before then. Oh,
Oh,
there? I don't know.
yeah, because I
Just
remember they
against the
won.
Islanders, they've lost 3 of their last 4.
Okay, because they won 1-3 zip when they
Yeah.
were like ravaged. I think maybe it was COVID, or there was like
Hey,
I think when they had a long road trip. I just feel like they really take on the captain in this game where he clearly hates it. And I
yeah.
feel like, I don't know, there's just a weird energy to these games, and I don't know
No,
exactly
listen,
how
you're
to
right. You're
explain it.
right, buddy, because I looked it up before the game for a reason. Like I didn't just get that stat like, "Oh, I'm Rain Man. I remember
Yeah.
this thing." No, I looked it up before the game because when they went down 1-0, I went, This feels all too familiar." But yeah,
3-3 and
anyways,
2. Really?
yeah,
See, that
3-3 and 2.
surprises me. I thought it'd be
So
worse than that. Anyways.
yeah, I would have thought so too. So again, maybe it's just a little bit of recency bias. Maybe it's the Tavares thing, but yeah, I thought a similar thing. But I thought the Leafs were okay tonight. Like again,
Yeah.
I enjoyed the play for the most part. I thought that they played within themselves. I really liked the fourth line. I thought that
Yeah.
they had a real impact on the hockey game. I noticed Holmberg a bunch too. I know he took again the bad penalty and that the assist that he ends up getting, the +1 he gets is more about his opponent than it is about him.
Mhm.
But I liked those 4 tonight, and I kind of had a feeling like, boy, if you look at the minutes, I don't know if this team does have a third and fourth line really anymore. It's more of just they have 2 different kinds of fourth lines.
Yeah, I like the fourth line a lot. I thought,
Yeah.
it's a pretty big detriment to old Nick Robertson. You see that, like,
Yeah.
he gets a goal, he looks good against the Sharks, and the fourth line Gregor immediately goes back in when he's feeling well. And I thought he was good tonight.
I told you, can't learn anything.
I know. But you just think if you're ever going to get to go in another game after you score and you look okay in an NHL game, you thought you'd maybe get another one, but it ends up being the right call because Gregor makes a great play on this Bobby McMahon.
Awesome play.
I like these guys as regular season contributors. Like I like that they've got these McMahon and Holmberg and Gregor, but like, do you really think that they're going to be there when the playoffs starts? I know we're doing game breakdowns, but to me, it's like these guys are good regular season contributors, but when the games get bigger, I'm not sure I want all of these guys in the lineup. Maybe that's a different story for a different day. But
yeah, buddy, right now I'm all about, hey, rest up.
Yeah.
Hopefully Boone Jenner enjoys his time at the All-Star game and that he's ready to strap up for the league.
What's with the Boone Jenner thing? Where did that come from?
I thought it came from Kipper.
I don't think so. No, I don't know. Kipper, maybe he mentioned it. I don't know.
I don't know. I thought it was a Kipper.
I talk to him every day. I don't remember that.
I know. I'm just saying. I thought it was Kip that dropped that one. But either way, the other thing is, yeah, they're just placeholders for, to me, Boone Jenner and Corey Perry. Eventually, those guys come in and they settle out the depth forwards for this hockey team. Yeah, I'm with you, but I really liked them tonight. I felt like they all played with force. Like McMahon had a real presence to him tonight. Gregor had one. It felt like Keefe was trusting them a little bit more, giving them a bit more ice time than you would have expected. And like, I know that these guys probably only played like 10, 11 minutes. Let me just go check the ice time. Actually, no, it checks out. They did. He played him a lot. He played him a lot, especially considering it's a closely checked game. Camp hit 13 minutes. McMahon hit 10, which is for him in a 3-3 hockey game. Good. That's a lot. Like that's a lot of ice time. Holmberg, same thing, almost 10 minutes, which is nice for him. Thought again, he had a really solid game. Yeah, and then Gregor 11:34.
None of the core 4 over 20 in a 1 goal game is pretty good for old.
But I think it was the right call. I think it was the right call. Like I don't think that they left anything on the table. I agree with you. I didn't really like the second line tonight for the Leafs. I thought that this was one where Nylander didn't have his best effort. I didn't really notice Tavares too much. And frankly, my only observation with Bertuzzi tonight is just a little bit of, I mentioned he's a good playmaker. He came in here as an underrated playmaker, and I like that about his game, and it suits that line and it suits those players. But man, sometimes just rip it. Like sometimes just put it on the net.
Yeah, I really do like Bertuzzi's game.
Yeah.
And I think he's a good contributor, but at some point, man, you're making $5.5 million here. You got to fire a few in the net. Like
he and Domi have the exact same thing where it's just, I get it. You want to be unselfish. I get you're trying to defer. I get you're a playmaker, but sometimes when you're 5 feet from the net and you got a clean look, just be an NHL player and shoot it in the net. Yeah. Bertuzzi was 6 goals in 39 games now. I got to say, it's a pretty disappointing number for that player.
It's not enough. Yeah. I don't even know. I'm the worst guy ever for on pace, but is that on pace for 20 goals?
No, it's
not.
So there you go. You really are the worst for that.
That's on pace for 12, like close to like 13. Yeah, I'm dumb. That's why I'm doing this.
Well, your mom, the teacher right now, is watching this like, Sam.
Domi's a way better passer than Bertuzzi is, though. Like, there's no comparison. There's no comparison between those two. Like,
I'm just saying they're both good playmakers.
Yeah, but Domi is much better at playmaking than Bertuzzi. I think Bertuzzi's game is more like the puck pursuit, hard on sticks, getting the puck into a good area kind of guy. And I would like to see him get it into the really good area a few more times here behind the goal line. Would be good.
Anything major for you or time for rapid fire?
I don't know if this constitutes as rapid fire or not, but just wanted to talk with the crowd a little bit there.
Buddy, I have that as my first rapid fire note.
Okay, so I thought that this was a really big deal for them, and Tavares. I guess it's the second time that he came back, but like, why is there no one there? It's a Thursday night.
Too.
They were quite like the boos were
Mhm.
half-assed tonight. They were not wholehearted. I thought that they had a couple Let's Go Islander chants or whatever. But, for this this vaunted crowd where you're terrified and Tavares is getting booed, it was like dressed like a seat night. There was no one there. It was just like a dead crowd. So
Yeah.
Tough showing from UBS tonight. I was surprised by that because usually it's like a rockin' building.
Last year we got on Levitard because their Panthers fan was discussing our show, and we triggered him by making fun of their fans. And
mine that was way worse. I would say they didn't deserve it.
No, but this I would say that these guys, they have a chip on their shoulder. If it makes it their way, they probably end up doing this. But yeah, that was a pathetic performance from their crowd. We're from Toronto, okay? We know about bad crowds.
Us saying that is bad for you.
us saying your crowd was pathetic and that your fans are fraudulent. Like tickets there. Here we got an excuse. Tickets are expensive. It costs you. You got a family, you want to go to a hockey game? Good luck. You got to take out a second mortgage. That's
legitimately like a $1,200 night.
Yeah, no, it's ludicrous. It's truly unfair. We need to figure out a better way. There has to be a better way. We should have let Balsillie put the team in Hamilton, for God's sake, so that some people in the GTA could actually reasonably afford to go to a hockey game.
Oh, you would you'd be a diehard Hammer fan, guaranteed by now.
No, I could.
Oh
never.
yeah.
But you know me. How many times have I fake quit being a Leafs fan in the text messages, only to be the number one
every single night?
Yeah, I was gonna say only to be the number one guy who gets the most mad when they drop a regular
17,000. No way, Jobo.
Yeah,
17,000.
Well, guess what? It was what, like, what are the people that the cigarette smokers that got to use the the box? It was a night for those guys because they weren't making a lot of noise. Anyway, yeah, I think that number is pretty inflated. They maybe sold those
lower
tickets.
bowl was half empty.
Yeah, there was a lot of empty seats. But yeah, I don't know. It could have been that number because what's the capacity in that arena? It's in the 20s. So yeah,
I don't know. I looked like
18.5. No, yeah. Well, then guess what? Then that number's not true because they didn't have that. they didn't have that number. That was a big time lie. It's like that's a lie. Yeah, it was quiet. They're a bit of a fraudulent fan base, I got to say. It's like they act all tough. They're like, well, this is our spot, and this we get after Tavares. And then you went, oh, Tavares is in town. You went, I don't know, I'm sleepy. So yeah, no respect for them. I've never really.
Oh boy, we're done.
Yeah. Sure, it's never. It's a fraudulent fan base. Like, what did you know about Islanders fans before Tavares left?
I don't know. I don't know.
Dude, their identity is Tavares left us.
That actually did become their identity.
Yeah, like, that's their identity. It's like, cool. It is. Yeah.
Well, they're really hard on Johnny T.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing before then. They were the team that had Tavares, and then they were the team that Tavares left, and that's all they are since Trache, who's in the building tonight. So I don't really want to hear it from them. Other rapid fire topics.
Oh, we're gonna. I feel like.
What?
I feel like we might.
Yeah, whatever. Ooh, what are they gonna do? Tweet? Ooh, not a tweet. No, you know what? I don't really have too much else after this because we talked about the fourth line. Oh, actually, I did want to say that, man, Barzal. This is one for the Islanders fans. Awesome vision from Barzal tonight. He was just nasty with the puck on his stick. He's a scary, scary player.
A couple guys on their team that really jumped out to me. Guy that's really improved is that Dobson. He is awesome. Like, he gave up the puck obviously on the Matthews second one.
Yeah, Romanov too.
But yeah, that was a nice shot by him. I don't think he usually has that one. I don't think he usually has that one in the bag. But to me, Dobson really jumped out. Just his vision, the shots from the point, a couple of them led to goals. I really liked his game tonight. Thought he really jumped off the page. And on the other side of it, old Pierre. What a Pierre night. Like, noticed him one time.
Guess what? Noticed him because of his long neck. I was like, look at that long
They gave him 8
neck.
years.
Yeah. Enjoy
8
him.
years.
Yeah.
How many minutes did he play tonight?
I don't know. Probably more than you'd think, but
yeah, that's 15. That's the classic Engvall.
Yeah.
Played 15, and I legitimately noticed him one time.
Yeah. Imagine being our buddy Kevin Papetti, who went to the wall for Engvall for 5 years.
He was -1 in a 4-3 win.
Yeah, like, imagine how many people were like, I am an Engvall truther. I'm going to go to the wall for this player. Like, the amount of people when he got traded that had can you believe Kyle did this and betrayed us? Tweets. It just, yeah.
Well, it's very true though. He was like synonymous with
I'm
Kyle
taking
Dubas
shots.
hockey. He was
Yeah.
synonymous with Kyle Dubas hockey.
Really was.
And then like when Kyle went rogue last year at the deadline, everyone was just so offended. They're like, Shen, Achari.
Yeah.
What about our sweet boys Sandine and Engvall?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I should have written it down, but it felt like a cheap shot. But I had the same thought. There was one moment in the ozone where he touched the puck for a split second, and I went, "All right, Engvall, I don't think about you ever.
And
You're not the one that got away, pal."
oh, I had one other thing I wanted to mention.
Cool.
At the end of the third period, with about 2 minutes left, there was a controversial icing where everybody was chasing towards the end, and the 10 people that were at the building booed. And then it just brought me back to my youth. Touch icing was the most electrifying thing in the world.
Yeah.
Like people, like kids these days don't know how sick touch icing was.
Well,
people got so hurt all the time because of it.
Buddy, that was Coach's Corner for 5 years. It was just grapes just
my whole life.
Yeah.
Until they
My entire childhood was keep your head up and keep your stick on the ice and we got to get rid of touch icing.
Well, it was legit. Think about what touch icing was.
Yeah.
It was two guys barreling full speed towards the end boards to touch a puck.
Dude,
but
honestly,
God, it was exciting. It was so exciting.
You know how it feels when you watch Johnny Bauer make saves with his face, no mask? That's how touch icing highlights look now. Is the exact same. Can you believe that we did this for this long? They're the same.
100%. But I just remember that from being a kid and just being like two guys barreling and being, is it gonna happen here? Being scared.
Got a battle. Anyway, all right. We're gonna go. We'll see you Saturday and Sunday again. Like
7-day work week for the boys this week.
Yeah, a 7-day work week for the fellas. So the least you could do is leave 5 stars on iTunes or on Spotify. The least you could do is share this podcast with your friends and your family members. You know, bang a little retweet, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Bunkis, at Sammy McKee, one of those two places. Reach out whenever. And the people want to know, will we ever wear matching outfits again? Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of cute. It's pretty cute.
I don't know. Oh, black shirts and glasses. First thing that's ever happened.
Yes. My shirt's navy. It just looks blue on there. All right. So that's it.
Whatever.
You're representing the company. You got the Sportsnet.
It's a really nice sweater. I wear it a lot. It's really nice. It's
I
just comfy and it fits. Buddy, I just went by the right desk at the right time one day.
No, this
and
is your
I
whole
just got
life,
hooked
man.
up.
Honestly, if I was like, if tomorrow, you know, you tragically passed and I had to speak at your funeral and they were like, tell us about Sam, I would have to be like, no one got more free stuff I've ever met in my entire life. That'd be like graph 2 in your eulogy. I'd be like, you have no idea the free amount of things this guy had. And then probably a lot of people in attendance would be like, I gave him something for free.
Hey, buddy. You just, when you just, people want to give me stuff. What can I say?
Buddy, no, you're
shamelessness will get you everywhere.
I was going to say, everyone's just constantly reaching out to you. It's not you. It's not you constantly badgering everyone. Can I have that? That's
the only real gift I got for Christmas this year was from my home course in OSAP.
Yeah. Amazing.
They gave me a wrapped gift under my tree of amazing swag. Thanks,
lovely
Legacy.
stuff.
Appreciate you guys. Appreciate
Absolute lovely stuff. Anyways, we appreciate all the people that watch. We appreciate all the people that listen. So do us a favor and bang the thumbs up on YouTube, share it on Twitter and Instagram, follow us there, and then we will see you Saturday night. Can't wait.